Email marketing is just the lifeblood of a business, and it's something that I've neglected for years. And, part of what I'm trying to do here with YouTube is help you make more money, help you make some more damn money. And I find it the best way to do that is to document the process. So I've shared a ton about marketing, podcasting, AI, all of stuff that I'm getting heavy into. And quite frankly, you probably noticed that I haven't been posting as much this past month because I've been so focused on learning this new skill. So I want to show you where I'm evolving to and what I'm looking at now, because I think it's really important to you. So what I'm doing here is I'm in my CRM. I've got all my contacts, calendars, I've got automations and funnels, and I want to show you a funnel today that I think is really important, especially if you're having meetings. So specifically in this one, I'm looking at interviews. So after I bring a client or a guest onto my podcast, what happens next? You got to remind the guest that things are working and the episode goes live and you want to share it. So what I'm doing is having a team member on my team fill out a quick form with some links. And then once that form is completed, it sets off some automations, and it's going to set off right now a series of 3 emails. But probably by the next video gets posted, there'll be 50 emails, because I want to continue to nurture that relationship. So as you can see, what does this email say? It says, thanks for joining the show, your name, our episode is live. We're going to tag you on social media. Hey, do me a quick favor, share this link with your friends. Because one of the problems that we get into in marketing is there's so many different things that we want people to do. Make sure you follow me on LinkedIn, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Oh, and by the way, did you get my freebie? And the problem with this is you're overwhelming your audience. Personal bugaboo. I guest on a bunch of shows, and some podcast hosts make it so difficult to be a guest. I was invited on a show the other day, and I went to fill out the form, and the form is like 50 pages long. I ended up actually not even filling out the form. I was like, this is too much work. It's not worth my time. So the same thing happens on the back end. If after I'm a guest on a show, the host send me, make sure you share, here's the videos and here's the images and they give so much stuff in an email that it almost it puts me to the point where I don't want to do anything. I get analysis paralysis. Okay. So the thought process behind what we're doing here with these emails is we're not going to overwhelm you. This is super quick. Hey, quick favor, share this link. And it's just a link to the blog or the episode on my website blog. That's it. And this is automatically sent out and filled out because of a form that me and my team complete. The form is very simple. What's the website blog link? What's a blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to show you more. So this is the first one that goes out. All right. The second email that goes out is a link to our YouTube video. And you can see here, it's pretty simple. Hey, your episode is getting eyeballs. Let's play the algorithm game to 10x our reach. Let's reach more people. Go to YouTube, like the video, leave a comment, and share on social media. That's it. It's super simple. All I do is click the button, and you can start to see how, okay, well, we got the one email one day, and then a few days later, we get the second email. You're not overwhelming someone. You're just giving quick steps. Each of these steps, by the way, will take someone about 2 minutes to complete at most. And then, and this is a part where I think things might be breaking down a little bit, but, or I need to continue bringing it down by, but the next one, it says, over the past 5 years, I've produced tens of thousands of pieces of content. I've learned a lot about the power of social media. And I just wanted to thank you for being a guest on the show. Here's a bunch of professionally edited content. And here's a bunch of, there'll be images and graphics and video clips. Basically, these are clips. So what historically and frankly, I think a lot of podcasts do is we try to get so much information into one email that what ends up happening is nothing happens. What ends up happening is nothing happens. So what I'm doing here is setting up an automation where we're sending out multiple emails, all with that same goal. Because quite frankly, a podcast, it has a long shelf life. So anyway, that's what we're doing there. Now, this is what happens with guest post follow-up. Now, I just want to show a little bit of backstage pass on how this automation actually looks. how it actually plays out. So the first thing that happens here is we have a trigger. The trigger is a form is submitted. The form can be filled out. And in my case, it's filled out by a team member. Hey, the episode's completed. Here's a link to the Google Assets. Here's a link to the YouTube video. Here's a link to the blog article. All there, nice thing. So that's completed. And I could add more stuff there. It depends on the way I want to format my emails. It depends on the goal of what I'm trying to do in the first place. In this case, the goal is to promote the episode. There's going to be more, but the goal here is to promote the episode. It gets assigned to a user who, whoever that is in our sales organization that's going to be, kind of managing this process. It adds a tag to that person. So now I can identify who all the guests of the After Hours Entrepreneur are. So it tags them, and we set our event start time, which is the podcast release date, which is also answered in that form. And then that's when our first email gets sent out, right? Pretty simple stuff here. Pretty simple stuff here. Name, it's from the user, that's me. It's from my email address. We're live, and again with our subject lines, we don't want to be too generic with our subject lines. We want people to open them. So you'll notice here in my subject lines that I'm going to be I'm going to kind of slap people in the face just a little bit. So the next thing that happens here is we're going to wait one day. So one day it goes out. After the first email goes out, we're going to wait one day. I might stretch it to 2 days. I'm going to do some A/B testing to see what gets the best results. And then we have another trigger here. We have a decision tree here. So basically what the computer here is saying is the email opened? If it's not opened, we're going to try to send out that same email again. We're going to wait a day, and then we're going to move to the next step. So was the email opened? So if it's not, we're going to resend it. If it is, then we're going to move on to the second email in the thread. The second email, which is about promoting the YouTube channel, okay? And then the same thing, wash, rinses, and repeats to infinity, right? To infinity, because again, every time we get on a call with someone, that is a potential prospect. It's a potential client. It's a potential person to be a referral partner, okay? And what I think happens a lot in our world, in our digital media worlds, we get caught up in stuff, and then you might meet someone who's a great fit for your organization. In this case, we're using the example of a podcast guest. That's the agency that I run, is a podcast production agency, right? So I want someone who's a guest on a show to become a client eventually. Regardless of that fact, we live in this world where we meet with someone once and then we just never talk to them again. Maybe we see a LinkedIn post here and there. What I want to do is I've met with someone and now they're going to get a series of valuable emails from me that help to solidify that relationship. And I think, the other problem that I see, I think this is well known, but the other problem that I think a lot of business owners, digital marketers run into is, the emails that they send out are way too long and boring. I'm sorry. Like, you're adding me to these email lists that are just long and boring and not interesting. What is this trend, by the way? What is this trend in marketing and funnels and landing pages where we're just going to fill it with as much text as possible? You don't need to read the Bible. You can read this email because it's that long. Like, who reads these things? I don't know. Like, it's a weird trend. I like it short, sweet, and interesting and valuable. So the way I'm starting to build these email nurture campaigns out is really not asking for anything, but just giving. And I know that sounds obvious and cliche, but hey, here's my free ChatGPT guide. Here's my favorite guide, or here's my guide on Zapier. Here's a guide with, here's a quick poll to find out where you rank amongst others. So like interesting, interactive, value-ridden PDFs so that people are like, okay, I'll open this and stay connected. And quite frankly, very, very little selling is going to happen. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you more about this in future videos. We're going to talk about this more because I think this is a big part. And frankly, if you're not here yet, if you've watched this whole video because you're interested, props to you. If you're not already, collect as many emails as possible. That information is going to become more and more valuable over time. Data. All right. Thanks for watching the video today. Go out and crush your business. And just by the way, I'm going to be talking about how you can incorporate AI into this whole process. AI is going to be a big deal because customizing messaging at scale with AI changes everything. It changes everything. All right, cool. Listen, I got a business to run. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.